Hello, everyone, and welcome to EduMatch. Follow along with us on Google Plus at tinyurl.com/tweettalk65, as well as on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, did you know that you could be the person of the day and be featured 24 hours just to make those global connections all over the world? Check it out at edumatch.org. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to the DigSit Summit that I went to on Friday and at Twitter headquarters. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to the organizers, Mary Alice Curran, David Polgar, as well as Twitter for hosting it, and everyone else who spoke, everyone who attended. It was a great event. Also shout out to Research Ed Washington, which I had the pleasure of attending yesterday. Great people, great content, great information. So tonight we are going to be talking badging, and we have a fantastic panel with us. So I'm just going to go ahead and have everyone introduce themselves. We'll work our way down the line, going from my left to my right. So let's start first with Dan.
Hey, y'all. My name is Dan Sharpe. I'm the assistant principal at McGlone Academy in Denver, Colorado. It's a K-8 school. And so even though my role sounds super official with assistant principal, we're really there for kids and for teachers and to make education awesome.
Fantastic. Welcome. Very happy to have you here. Let's go next to Rachelle.
Hey, it's Rachelle from Pittsburgh. I teach Spanish and STEAM technology. Do a lot of cool things with my students. Love learning from them. Excited to join the panel tonight.
Fantastic. And we are excited to have you back. All right. Moving right along to Rich.
Hey, welcome everyone. Great to be here. Sarah, thanks for having me. Great to join everyone else. My name's Rich Dixon. I taught for 20 years, elementary focus. I was also an administrator in EdTech TOSA. These days I find myself working with others in a small company to bring EdTech PD that leverages badges to recognize accomplishments for K-12 educators. And I also work at UC Santa Barbara teaching the EdTech course for those that are pursuing their teaching credential.
Fantastic, Rich. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And last and certainly not least, and we're going to Tisha.
Hi, such an honor to be here. My name is Tisha Richmond, and I'm a high school culinary arts teacher in Southern Oregon, as well as a teacher leader. And I've been in the district for 11 years.
Awesome, fantastic, and welcome to EduMatch. So we have such a great panel here, and I'm very interested and excited to dive into our very first question. So we're going to start off with seeing how do each of you use badging in an educational setting, and what have you found to be the benefits? So would anyone like to jump on to tackle that question first?
I can jump in, Sarah.
All right, cool.
I'm probably the worst one to jump in because we actually haven't started using it yet, but we have a really great plan. And so really badging for us is really just trying to capture all those amazing things that kids do that a really dumb Infinite Campus report card can't capture. Things that points can't capture, like, oh my gosh, you were so kind to that person in your class or on the playground or in the hallway, or you picked up that trash and no one even asked you, or like, wow, that was a really amazing, like, creative idea, or you really persevered. And so like really being able to take those ideas and capture them in a way that's like official and travels with the kids. So whether it's parent conferences or whatever, we can be like, oh yeah, and sure, you have a 3 or 4 or whatever that means in math, but check this out. You actually are super creative in what you do and you really persevere, and here's the badges and the evidence to prove that. So we're really excited to get started, and we think it can be really powerful to capture those things for kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. Capturing those soft skills that you don't always get to capture on the report cards. I love that. All right, Rachelle, what about you?
Well, I've been using badges for a couple of years because we use Edmodo for our LMS, and so there's some that are set up within that, and then I created some for my students just for some fun things that they do. Like we use Selly, which is kind of like a remind. And so whenever they ask questions or they, do different things throughout the course, if they answer a lot in class, I have some that I set up, and they're kind of fun. And then over a period of time, after a while, they can get Spanish themed rewards and things like that. And it's just a little bit more motivating, especially because when they get the notifications that I've awarded a badge for something, they usually send like, thank you, like, that's awesome, I'm so excited. And so it's just a nice thing to do that's a little bit extra to give them some encouragement. And it's nice that you can do that beyond the school day too. So it's later in the evening if you see they've done something, and then you award that, and it's like they know that you're still working with what they're doing and that you're connected. And I just think it's kind of cool what's out there for them.
Absolutely. That excitement is definitely real. Fantastic. All right, Rich, what about you?
Well, for me and the person named Jennifer Gibson that also helped launch the company, we were really excited after doing years and years of PD with teachers to be able to recognize their accomplishments in a way that they could demonstrate, show off in a lot of different areas, not just embedding it in an email signature, but across multiple platforms. And then most importantly, when we stumbled upon open badges, and open badges is a way to, when you have a graphic that is your badge, you click on it, and then it opens up a whole description, a whole list of criteria about what that educator, in our case, can now do as a result of their learning. And that was really important and life-changing for us because we wanted to be able to shorten the gap between when someone knows something and when they do it, and then when they can represent that. And being able to represent it in ways that's more than just a list of words, and having the option to link out to, say, a video that they've produced or other artifacts that capture how they put their practice or how it's improved their practice, that learning.
And I remember you talking about open badging at Q Nevada. So yeah, that definitely, that was a light bulb moment for me. So loved it. Thanks. All right. And Tisha, what about you?
Hi, well, I gamify both levels of my culinary 3. And so in my culinary arts 2 class, I have a master chef theme. And so I actually use physical badges. So these are kind of examples of badges that I would give my students. They have side quests that they can go on and earn badges by going on. Curriculum is requiring them to do, and then they also can earn badges within our classroom for labs. So if they made this cake that was amazing and if it was in a bakery display case, I would buy it. They might get a badge for that particular lab that day. And so in each unit that we study, they are on a quest to earn a certain amount of XP that is given to them in the form of these physical badges. And they have a baseball card sleeve that they keep them in. And then I also give items. So items would include like a free mix and ingredient. They might have additional time to work on a side quest or mission. And so there's different advantages for getting those. And I've noticed that by gamifying my classes, students are creating and collaborating and problem solving, critically thinking way more than they ever have before. The motivation and the immersion is just at an all-time high. And now that I've gamified, I can't imagine going back to how I taught before.
Absolutely. I love that gamification piece. That's awesome. That is so awesome. All right, fantastic. So we're going to now jump into Q3. Question 3. What is the most innovative use of badging that you've seen in educational settings? So we're going to go first to Dan.
So I don't know if this would be like techie innovative, but I saw a couple schools that used physical badges in addition to their digital badges. So they had a button maker, a physical button maker that would replicate specific badges that were also digital badges. And I thought that was super cool because kids would run around and like pin badges like on their backpacks or on their shirts or like whatever. They were like really proud and like, check out this badge that I can also display, in my locker or whatever. And so definitely think we got a button maker in the mail a few days ago, so we're really excited to get started with that.
Awesome. That is fantastic. All right, going next to Rich.
Awesome. Well, I have some friends over at Cities of Learning, and they do some really great work with secondary students across the country that might not normally have access to college or career transitional help that many students with more money might. And so what they do is they have students go through specific soft skill and hard skill training, and then they recognize each of those skills, discrete skills, with a digital badge. That again, when you click on that link, it links out the viewer, prospective employer, a college admissions individual, whoever that person might be. And then it links out all of the skills that they can do, matches them to specific skills and other academic criteria like the Common Core state standards and other things. So that even if you're not an educator, you can understand what that student can do. And each of those skills are really meaningful and helps inform employers. And certain employers like Gap regionally and others that are well known have partnered in those different cities in order to facilitate jobs and the transition into those jobs, so that those that might not normally make that transition really well have a clear pathway to do so that's represented by the digital badges. And you can find out more about that via lrng.org.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that connection between the school and the community. So that is awesome. All right, fantastic. What about you, Rachelle?
Well, kind of dark, sorry about that. I would have to say that the most innovative, and I'm going to give a shout out here to Tisha for this one, because I was amazed when I had met her face to face finally this past summer and learned what she taught and how she went about teaching it with the use of gamification, everything in it. I just think that it's amazing what she does with her coursework. So I would say that the most innovative use that I've seen of anything like this related to this, it's hands down Tisha.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So that segues right into Tisha. So what about you?
Wow, Rachelle, that was so sweet. Thank you so much. I just have been so inspired by so many teachers who are doing amazing things. The XP Lab community on Twitter has been phenomenal. Just so many teachers doing amazing, amazing things with gamifying and badges. One idea that came up in our XP Lab chat this last week was someone was buying on Amazon the little scratch-off circles that you can buy, like when you have a scratch-off ticket, and they were putting them on their badges. And so under that scratch-off ticket, there was like surprise XP or something that was revealed through that badge. And I thought that was a really creative idea for just to add a little bit of intrigue and mystery to the physical badges. And so I actually went on to Amazon today and purchased some.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. I would love to check that out as well. So if you happen to have the link for that, if you could just drop that on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch, that would be great. All right, thanks. So thinking about the future of badging in education, what do you think will be the future of badging in education? So Rich, let's go to you first.
I think selfishly, I love this question because right now, after having been in the classroom, my job now kind of gets me out and around the country. And I think some of the things that are most exciting for me tie into my last response, which is being able to empower educators and students to be able to represent meaningful accomplishments in a way that others outside of their educational community can understand. So it opens up new career pathways, maybe even acknowledgement of their work. If you're a teacher, for grants, for students to be able to get into either college or career opportunities that they might not be able to otherwise. And there's a number of new resources coming online, some new technical protocols that allow all of this to happen within the open badge community. And so I'm very excited to see schools as well as educators on their own finding these resources, be able to communicate more authentically and have some meaning behind how they can better communicate who they are and what they're about.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. All right. So coming next to Dan.
Yeah, so I honestly have no idea where badging's going. I mean, I just think, though, that it has something to do with credentialing. And so I'm wondering, you know, in the future, as, you know, we are more digital in resumes and digital just in like profiles, I think of LinkedIn and stuff, you know, just having like this badge and you're like, ooh, if that person has that badge, they're really good at programming this, or you know, they have this leadership type style. And so I could see digital badges becoming universal. And so people, you know, through graduate level courses or online courses or whatever credentialing is required, being able to get those badges and display them to employers or potential employers. So.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. Coming next to Rachelle.
Yeah, I'll follow up exactly what he was just saying too. I think that more people are becoming more aware of them, and it seems like a lot of the things that I even get as a teacher are saying like, oh, here's your digital badge, or make sure that you get your digital badge. And I think that if you look at people when they accumulate these badges, it shows, you know, their accomplishments or some level of skill or an interest or something. And I think that moving forward, I think we'll probably see more of that. And it's a nice way too that, like, depending on if you're a student or you're an educator, employers can look at that and see, just like he had mentioned, then he mentioned credentialing. You know, it's a way to visibly see just by that one symbol, whatever it is, you know, what skill somebody has acquired or what their interest is. And I think it's just a neat way to keep track of somebody's progress, whether you're a teacher or the student.
Absolutely. All right. And what about you, Tisha?
Well, I ditto everything everybody has said. I couldn't agree more. And I just know from my personal experience as a teacher, as I have incorporated badges into the classroom, that, as I mentioned before, just the immersion and the motivation has just skyrocketed. And so I think anytime that we can create an environment where learning is coming alive for kids, and we can motivate them to go beyond what they've done before, is awesome. And so I know, taking what I've done in my classroom, I've also expanded gamifying to our staff this year, and it's been really fun to see our staff become motivated and excited through acquiring XP. And we've done it kind of as a way to promote school culture. And so I'll send out missions every week where our school is divided into learning communities. So each learning community is trying to complete these missions for badges or XP. And it's been very, very motivating, and it has truly already, in just the short amount of time we've been in school, has contributed to an improved school culture. So I think the sky's the limit. I think there's so many uses for badging that we haven't even tapped into yet.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think that we're going to see a lot more of it, as y'all have said, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to help create links between various schools, between various places, school and community, things of that nature. So absolutely. All right. So we're now on our final question. Time flies when we're having fun. So question 5, what are some resources that you can suggest for people who want to get started badging? So let's go to Rich on that.
Awesome. Well, there's a couple of free things that you can find. Sarah, thank you for dropping in a URL that I just shared out with you via Twitter to help you get started if you aren't on the journey already. And you can also join us Monday afternoons. I'm on the West Coast, so it's 3:30 p.m. Pacific time or 6:30 p.m. East Coast time every Monday for something called Badge Chat K-12. And there's a bunch of us, including Sarah and others, that are on there that share resources and ideas. So whether you're getting started or you're already starting badges, but you're starting to feel frustrated, or you want to grow your community so you have people to pour into you as you pour into them, Badge Chat K-12 is just another free area for you to help get yourself started, or again, refine practices. So that's my share out.
All right, awesome. Yes, I have to definitely second that. Badge Chat is a wealth of knowledge. Love it. Love that community. Great. So who would like to jump in next?
I can go, Sarah. Yeah. So I just tweeted out a resource that I made through Google Sheets. It's an add-on, and it just is like a pretty basic add-on to get started digital badging. If you just want to, like, if you're already a G Suite, you know, for education school, and you want to use Google Sheets to digital badge, I'm pretty sure it works. We've tested a lot of times, so it should be good to go. But it's pretty intuitive and straightforward, and we feel like anyone can use it. And I also want to echo that Badge Chat K-12. I was thinking of my Colorado buddy Noah, so at Senior G on Twitter. I'll tweet him out too, but if you want to get connected with him, he definitely has a wealth of knowledge for digital badging.
Absolutely. Definitely have to second that. Noah is amazing. So yeah, great stuff. All right, Rachelle, what about you?
I'll just follow up what they both said. The link is great. I know that for me, I use Edmodo, so there are some that are already made. You can use the Google. There is another website I was using. I think Credly has some, but it's kind of fun. Like there's a lot of resources that are out there, and the Padlet that you shared too, it does have a lot of them in there, and I think that you can just find a bunch of them, but just find what works for you, or even make some that are pertinent, I guess you could say, to your students and your environment, that it's like your inside joke, whatever you're connecting with your students, just to find something that's interesting.
Yeah, and I tend to use Credly a lot as well. So yeah, and there's so many other great platforms that are out there as well. Great. And how about you, Tisha?
Well, I have to definitely say that Explore Like a Pirate has been a huge inspiration for me. And so I have to give a shout out to Michael Matera. And his website is amazing. There's a ton of resources there. He does vlogs on a regular basis with some awesome ideas. So xplab.com, I just dropped that in, or I'm about to drop that in. And I also have to shout out that the XPLab community on Twitter is also just a phenomenal, inspiring group of people that you just learn so much every week. You have to go back through the Storify to catch all of the amazing stuff. But that is on Wednesday nights at 8 Eastern time. And of course, the book Explore Like a Pirate by Michael Matera is awesome as well. But there's a great community of educators and out there that are doing amazing things. So I would suggest connecting for sure.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on what you just said, the Voxer group is also amazing. So very happy to be part of that. So, all right, awesome stuff. Thank you all so much for being on panel and for sharing your great insights. Thank you to everyone who was tweeting along with us, everyone who was watching, everyone who was lurking. We love you all. So the podcast will be available on iTunes in the coming weeks, and the Twitter transcript will be out within the next few minutes. So next week, we're going to bring back our discussion on design thinking. So that's going to happen same bat time, same bat channel. Anyone can be a panelist. Just fill out the form at tinyurl.com/EduMatch sign up, and that will get you all squared away. So if you are interested in subscribing to the podcast, then you can do so at bit.ly/EduMatch podcast. So everyone have a fantastic evening, and see you all next time.